is Diane Sova, also known by the Maori as Hine Ite Ayo. I'd like to share with you the story of a sacred Pounamu that has traveled the world in all directions with me. I am the steward of the Pounamu. It begins in 2014. I left the United States, sold all my property, and desired to go around the world. I was filming healers in all traditions, in their own language. What happens to you when you're doing the healing? As I went forth, I ended up through Mexico, Costa Rica, Brazil, Chile, Easter Island, Tahiti, and then New Zealand. And at that time then, people were alerting ahead of time and inviting me to come speak. I was invited to a gathering of Maori, a teacher, a Maori elder, and there was a group of about 25 people there. They didn't know I'm traveling the world. They just thought that I'm there to interview the elder Maurice about his experiences. So I was very welcomed. But as Maurice began talking, he suddenly said, "Stop! I've had a vision. We have to have a naming ceremony." And of course, I was excited because of this naming ceremony. And I said to him, "Can I film? Can I videotape this ceremony?" And he said, "Nope. This ceremony is for you. I have a vision." So everyone scurried around. They prepared this ceremony for me. At that time, then, I was given the name Hine Ite Ayo, which to the Maori means bringer of heavenly peace. This was an honor to me, but I didn't really understand why me. And he said it's just part of their prophecies. So thank you. The next day, I took a train with a friend, Glennis. We were in Christchurch. I took the train across New Zealand to a town called Greymouth. Greymouth is the home of a jade, a nephrite jade. It's the only place in the world this particular type of jade is found. It's formed in the water and then comes up onto the land. So a different tribe takes care of that property. But when we got off the train, we're looking at the shops, and it's all souvenir shops. I honor the souvenirs, but I did not want to buy any. I'm traveling on a world trip. I didn't want to carry extra things, so we decided we're going to leave. But as we were walking back towards our train, suddenly it felt as if someone shoved my shoulders and said, "Stop." And the piece of Pounamu that had been given to me when I was named Hine Ite Ayo was burning into my skin. It left a red mark here. I knew I had to stop. So I went into the shop, and it's another jewelry shop with carvings and nice things. But again, I wasn't so interested, but I knew some reason I had to stop there. And I look around and see on a low shelf a piece of greenstone. And I said, "What's that? That's it." And the man in the shop brings me a Pounamu. He said, "This is called a Pounamu Mary. It is carved in the past in Maori culture. This shape was used as a weapon. Cut, stab, slash, scalp people. Now it is passed from chief to chief to chief with the message of just tradition in the Maori tradition." So the young man, Jeremy, had carved this Pounamu. He and his father and two elders had blessed it at a sunrise ceremony several months prior. So I said, "Will you sell this? Can I buy this? It must go with me on my world travels." And he said, "Well," I said, "how much would it be?" And he told me a price, and I said, "It can't be it. I can't take this with me." So sadly, I took his card. The train is, woo-hoo, the train is leaving, so we have to run for the train. But before my butt hit the seat, I'm calling him, saying, it has to go. I know this. It must go with me. He's on the phone then, and he said, you are on the last train out. There's no way it's going. It will make it to Christchurch in time for you to leave. I was leaving the next day. I said, I know. I know this will come with me. So it took 17 phone calls and messages to end up with someone. A man was there, somebody's sister's, uncle's, brother's, nephew, who was delayed in Greymouth, but was driving to Christchurch. He carried the Pounamu and delivered it to me, my elder, Maurice, and delivered it to us quite late at night so that Maurice could do a blessing for this Pounamu and myself. We opened the box, and inside is the birth certificate, the authenticity of the stone. And inside, we see that name, Hine'iteaio, the same name that was given to me. Even the elder, we were shocked. So he did a blessing too, that the Pounamu would go north to south, east to west. He said, you will carry this message of peace and healing for all people from the south to the north in all directions. When he said that, I was quite shocked because I had met through a DVD, a video called Bridgewalkers, an elder in Greenland named Anangwak. And the elder in Greenland, they held a sacred circle for all people, and indigenous peoples from the world sent their ashes for a sacred circle in Greenland, blessing of all people. Anangwak told me, you will carry this message from the north to the south. And here, Maurice is telling me in New Zealand, you will carry the message from the south to the north. I ended up traveling all the way with the Pounamu around the world, east to west, all the way to Greenland, where we did ceremony, where Anangwak blessed this stone from the south and the message it was carrying. So I was honored, but I also felt a tremendous responsibility as steward for the Pounamu. There are a couple stories I want to share. In Australia, so I left New Zealand with the Pounamu. In Australia, a group invited me to come speak in Melbourne, Australia, 8 women. And when I walked in, it was a very powerful group because my hair stood up practically. But I laid the Pounamu out. They knew what I was going to speak about. I laid the Pounamu on a table. The women are in a different room. And I set it down and turned like this. Suddenly, one of the women in the other room said, "Who screamed? What happened?" And crash! The Pounamu went to the floor and broke. The woman standing right next to me, Angela, said, "No, I see it jump. It jumped from the table, but it broke." And I was devastated. I'm supposed to be the steward for this sacred item to affect so many people, and it broke. I recorded what the women said when that happened, but also then I decided I'll carry in 2 pieces because all of us have been broken at some point. All of us have scars. So I continued my journey with 2 pieces of the sacred Pounamu. Fast forward several weeks, and I was going to Daylesford, also in Australia, north of Melbourne, and it was a mineral water healing area. But as we were driving in, I see all these incredible marble statues, angels, goddesses, and I thought, oh, someone here could fix the Pounamu. So when we entered the healing waters, I asked the boy at the front desk, young man at the front desk, do you know who does this marble work? I have something to be repaired. And he said, it's my grandfather. And he happens to be here in Daylesford today. So he called his grandfather. The grandfather came over, and I showed him what I have, and he said, "Well, what is this stone?" And I said, this is a jade, a nephrite jade found only in New Zealand." And he looked up with tears in his face, and he said, "My own jade, my daughter Jade, was taken to hospital this morning. We don't know if she'll live. I will be honored to work with your jade because I cannot help my own." And he left. He took the jade with him. The next morning, this was very shocking to me. What a coincidence. His daughter is named Jade, and I'm bringing a jade for him to fix. The next morning, we drive to his house. He's called a bushy in Australia, lived way out, and on his property, these wonderful statues that he had carved, and he said he does it only because he can, for the glory of God, because it wasn't a public display place. So he comes out to me holding the Pounamu repaired, and he says, "My jade made it in the night, and I was able to repair your jade. Thank you." This was a most humbling thing ever, because I decided I will never doubt what the Pounamu does or why, what is happening with it. But it carried that peace and healing for this man who could spend the night with this jade when his daughter Jade is in hospital. I thank you for that. I went again then to Dubai. And in Dubai, a Muslim man, it was on Ramadan. And a Muslim man is looking at the stone and he says, "I see the face of the woman. And I had never noticed, and by then maybe 1,000 people had held the Pounamu and blessed it, and I never noticed the face in there." And he said he saw his mother, and he started tears, crying. So he again added his prayers and blessings. So it didn't matter in all the travels what religion, what color the skin, what education, what economics. It didn't matter where. I presented the story and just tell them, put your own prayers for peace and blessing for all people. So my friend Ivan is here. Ivan is from Canada, and he's also worked with the Pounamu with me before, but I like to share now, this was a weapon. But now we change from a weapon for destruction to an instrument of peace. And I ask Ivan, we both put our hands, we share this desire, and I say, I connect with you, heart to heart. I mean you no harm. I will do you no harm. I will not speak against you. I love you. Thank you. And as we move from people to people and group to group, we want to show that there is peace. And sometimes it has to be one by one. As we pass this message from the north to the south and east to west, from person to person, one-on-one, I ask you to join me in sharing the peace. When I travel with the Pounamu, I wrap her in the flag of the Maori people, in a leather case that was made by a girl in in Australia who loved the Pounamu also and contributed there. But the Pounamu is carried safely because we wrap the energy as we carry it from person to person. So please, in your own way, join me on the way of the Pounamu. Thank you.